Hi friends. Okay, I am done with my retightening, my self retightening. I am in a better place. Um and I am happy to be done with it and to have accomplished it. And I know now that I can take care of my own hair if I need to. Still cannot wait to see my loctician. So some things happened. I want to start off with it was due for my retightening. I get it done every month, and then we went into shelter in place. Okay, so my loctician instructed me to try not to wash it as much. Try not to wash it at all, and I had to wash it. I'd say I normally wash it once a week. And so I was like 2 weeks into not washing it. And so I washed it with this. I ran out of Sister Lock shampoo at the same time, right? And so then I used this Neutrogena clarifying shampoo because it was all I had. Well, it was one of the things I had that I thought was the best because everybody was like, use a clarifying shampoo. Um, so with my Sister Lock starter shampoo, what I do is I cut it in half with water, and then I add like tea tree oil, peppermint oil, and sage oil. Um, and that's really good for your scalp. And it's not the kind of oil that leaves an oily residue as much as like a coconut oil or thing like that. And so I guess they call them fatty oils. Like coconut oil is a fatty oil, but tea tree oil is not. And it's also really good for your scalp, like rosemary is also good for your scalp. Anyways, so and then I put some aloe vera in it. I got that from Trader Joe's. It's 95% aloe vera. Comes in a large tube. So I put some of that in there. So the Sister Lock shampoo basically has aloe vera in it. And I believe the aloe vera is what locks your ends. So people sometimes say there's like a sticky residue. I think that's what they're experiencing is the residue of the aloe vera, which is intentional to help to lock your locks. The top of my head was so dry. And I saw it happening, but I was like, I'm trying to follow the instructions because at the time I wasn't going to tie myself. I was like, I'm just gonna sit this out and we're gonna see what happens. Then we get into the second month of being shelter in place. And I'm like, well, dang, I'm in California, so we are only in phase 2. And we just went into phase 2, and that's where they're opening up certain things like processing plants, manufacturers, and things like that. The hair salons and stuff like that aren't until stage 3. So we might have a whole nother month. So anyways, I got, I don't know if you saw my last videos, but I got a 3-paned mirror where you can, it's a barber's mirror self-cut system. And so that you can see the sides and you can see the back of your head. So I did that. I went ahead and I got my mirror, and I had my tools, which are also in my other videos, and I tightened them. Okay, so it was not a fun process. The back was all tangled up, and because I have 3C hair, I just feel like it was a lot more tangled than it would be if I had thicker hair. And so then I went from back to front, and when I got to the front, I had some serious problems. So my whole scalp was so dry. It was so dry. And every time I pulled And I'm not talking like pulled really hard, but every time I took a lock like this to hold it up, to go ahead and tighten it, it's hard to explain. It felt like it was going to come out. It felt like something was stuck in the follicle. Um, and the best way I can describe it is that if I was, you know, those dolls, you might not be old enough to remember this, but there was a doll whose hair would grow and you would just pull her hair and it would get longer and you could give her haircuts and stuff like that. Well, anyways, it was like that. If I was that doll, and I don't know how else to put it, but I pulled and you could feel the hair breaking loose. And I realized it was because there was a layer of dead skin all around the section of my head. The rest of my head did not have that problem. This whole spot here was so dry. It was so dry. And so I think that the hair follicle was impacted. Like, impacted as in the dead skin cells had clogged up the follicle, and so there was growth beneath the surface, and that just sounds really, I don't know, I did not like it. It was highly, very uncomfortable feeling. It wasn't exactly painful, but it was scary because every time I tightened one, I was afraid it was just gonna come right out. But they're apparently fine, except for I lost a lock, and I'm very upset about that. So there was a couple of locks I found that were hanging on by just a little, maybe 4 or 5 strands. I cut those out because I'm not down to be waking up in the morning with a lock in the bed or in my cap or anything like that. I prefer, like, this one's on its way out, I'm cutting it out. And I would prefer for the new growth of that space to be added to another lock, as opposed to waiting for it to grow out to make it its own lock. I don't really care much about the grid. I'm not like, yeah, girl, check out my grid. I am not hating on nobody who feels that way. It's just not me. That's not what I'm looking for. I just want my locks to be very strong and stable. And so I was doing my hair, it's going through, and I just did like this, and I went to grab the base, and the whole fucking lock came out, like, from the base. And it came off like it wasn't even attached to my head. Like, there wasn't any pain. It wasn't like I yanked it out. It just came loose. And I have my lock in my hand. And the level of anxiety that I had, let me tell you, because I'm like, okay, I'm already thin. As you see, I was thin when I got my locks put in. But I did a really good job of tightening them. I missed a few. I've been feeling around today. I did miss a few, but as you see, you can see my grid pretty well. And I am putting off showing you the space where I lost my lock. But let's just get it out of the way, okay? And I'm just wanting to be honest with y'all because this is what happened. So that's where the lock used to be, right there. I am hoping, now this is the way I normally wear my hair, so at least that's good that it's not visible. But, you know, because my hair is thin anyways, that's a major fucking spot right there. Now, it feels soft and it feels fuzzy. And so I hope that means the hair will grow back and it's not damaged. I watched somebody else's, I watched somebody else's video, and it said that, she said that her scalp was really dry. So I think that it was the dryness that choked the follicle. I think that's why it came off at the root. Because my ends, they don't break off. I haven't had that problem where a lock actually has broken in the middle or anything like that. I've only lost a lock to the fact that they're so freaking thin. Like, they are too thin for my liking, and unfortunately I can't really show you. I'm sure you know what it's like to have a very, very small one and have it be so tiny and only being held up by like 7 or 8 strands of hair, and I'm not down with that. I don't want to have a lock that delicate and small. So later I'm going to talk to my loctician about combining those super small ones into maybe 3, so that the super small ones can be married into 3 to just be more substantial and stable. Because the ones here are beautiful size. They're very stable right there. They're very stable and strong. How can I know if you're seeing this? I don't know. But like, that's like really good and strong in there. Okay? So I didn't feel concerned when I was tightening those. They felt stable. The ones that were really thin felt very delicate, and I was afraid of how I was tightening them because they're just so tiny. Now I had a lock that I had cut out when I got my tester locks, and I think it was right here. Anyways, when I went and tightened my hair, I just added that loose hair to that lock. Because I don't care if there's another little baby lock next to it. I'd rather take that hair and add it to the other lock. Anyways, so that's what I did. So that being said, don't use Neutrogena's declarifying shampoo. Not only did it jack up my scalp, it also, like, my ends, like, they're soft and happy again. But they were all split apart and dried out. Like, it had undone everything that I've done, which was really upsetting because this is month 5 for me. And every time I've gone to my loctician, she's been very impressed with my ends. She's been impressed with the state of my hair. And so, that declarifying shampoo really jacked it up. So maybe there's other brands that are great. I just know for that Neutrogena was no-go. So I had ordered some Sister Lock starter shampoo, which has not come in the mail yet. And once I was finally done with the retightening, and that all that happened up here, and I realized how impactful it was for my scalp to be that dry, and how it was affecting my locks. I was like, I have to wash my hair. Can't wait for this shampoo. So I had some Dr. Bonner's, the concentrated formula shampoo. I have the unscented kind, and so I used that, and I did the same formula that I do with the Sister Locks. The half of the shampoo, half water. Add the rosemary and peppermint and tea tree oil, and then I think I put a little bit of lemon this time. So I've been experimenting with my essential oils, basically test patching my arm right about here, seeing if it's gonna make me itch or not before I use it. And so I've been incorporating it into my scalp spray. So Sister Locks has an herbal spray, and so instead of buying Sister Locks stuff, I was like, I'll just make my own, because it's cheaper that way, and I already work with essential oils, so it's not like I just be buying them for that one particular reason. And so I did that, and then I put aloe vera gel in there. So I put about this much aloe vera gel in there, and you have to shake it really hard, a lot, to get it to incorporate. But that brought my locks, them back to their usual happy softness and health. Like they're back to normal now. So you can tell I'm super happy about that. Like that damage was only temporary, and feeling way more confident. Um, and I'm hoping that this space, that it'll grow back. I'm really hoping that it'll grow back. I'm happy it happened there. It could have been one of these. It could have been really ugly. So I really lucked out on that. Of course, now I can't cover it up. There you go. So this is my scalp spray, and so I just wrote scalp treatment on it, and I just put half water, and then the oils. What is it? Okay, I put the whole thing is water, and it's bottled water, it's spring water, and then I just added oils to it. Now I was doing witch hazel, but I was noticing that witch hazel was leaving a residue, and so I stopped using it. Because witch hazel, from what I read, is really good for your scalp, but you're not supposed to leave it on your scalp. So you're not supposed to use it as a leave-in treatment. If you're going to use witch hazel, use it on wash day. But I've been using the apple cider vinegar. So I put apple cider vinegar on my whole scalp before I washed it, and I let it sit for half an hour. And then I without washing out the apple cider vinegar, I then sprayed in the shampoo. Gave myself a real good scrub. It was so nice. But if you can see how healthy and shiny my scalp is, so happy right now. So this is what I've been experiencing since I've gone through this. Like after the first 4 weeks or so, my dandruff went away, and sometimes there's a little flake, sometimes there's a little itch, especially when you first get retightened. But other than that, it's fine. So I always just shake it, and then I do like there. And that little bald spot's like our secret, okay? Like if you see me on the street and you see my bald spot showing, please tell me. But it feels good. It was devastating. It was devastating to lose that lock. Not because I lost a lock, but because I have anxiety, and here I am in my mind. I am like, what if I go bald? What if I wake up and this whole part's just gone? Or what if I wash my hair and it all just falls out? Like, I think it's from when I've gotten relaxer done. And in those nightmare stories where like you leave it in too long and you're washing out in the shower and then the hair starts coming out. Like, oh my God, what did I do? I've been through that. And so I think that is where that level of anxiety came from. And so when I watched this other girl's YouTube video, and she said that her loctician said that it was probably because her skin's very dry. Her scalp is very dry. Then I was like, okay, well, I can feel at peace that is probably exactly what caused it. And so to end this video, I say that to say, I wanted to share with you candidly what was going on with me, but I also wanted to say that I don't believe that you have to not wash your hair, and that you have to let your hair go through this drying out process and this dandruff process in order for it to then get to its natural happy state. I think that you can use essential oils that won't clog your scalp, your follicles, that won't leave a big residue, and it's perfectly fine to wash your hair once a week to keep your scalp healthy. And I think that it's because my hair is locking. Also, people say if you wash it every week, it'll take longer to lock, but that's not the case because the here's a good example. Let me see if you can see this. This one is locking at the base. I have a lot like that are locking at the base. See that? So my routine is not messing with the locking process. So I think it's very important to take care of your scalp. And if you're losing locks and your hair is dry, your scalp is dry, and you don't wash it often, that might be why. Especially if it's coming off at the root. I never want to see that happen again. So, anyways, and I hope that doesn't happen to you. I hope you're doing okay. And if you had to retighten yourself due to the situation that we're in, I hope that you were successful. Okay, and I will talk to you guys later. Let me know if you want to watch that video from this other girl, and I will find it and post it in the comments. Okay, bye.